The sun had just begun to rise over the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. It was a peaceful morning like any other, with people going about their daily routines. In Tokyo, office workers hurried to catch trains, while in New York, children laughed as they played in parks. Farmers in small villages across Africa tended to their crops, and fishermen in coastal towns cast their nets into the ocean. Life on Earth seemed ordinary, until it wasn't. High above the planet, something strange started happening. At first, no one noticed. A faint shimmer appeared in the sky, almost like heat waves rising from asphalt on a hot summer day. But this shimmer wasn't caused by the weather. It was something far more extraordinary. By mid-morning, the phenomenon grew stronger, spreading across continents. People stopped what they were doing to look up. Some pointed excitedly, thinking it might be a rare atmospheric event or even an aurora borealis appearing unusually far south. Others whispered prayers, fearing divine intervention. As hours passed, the shimmer turned into a crack, a jagged line splitting open the heavens. It looked unnatural, as though the very fabric of reality was being torn apart. Panic spread faster than wildfire. Social media exploded with videos and photos of the rift, each caption filled with questions. What is this? Is it real? Are we in danger? Governments scrambled to respond, issuing statements urging calm while secretly trying to figure out what was happening themselves. Scientists gathered data, but their instruments couldn't explain the anomaly. Whatever this was, it defied all known laws of physics. Then came the ships. Through the glowing tier emerged massive vessels unlike anything humanity had ever seen. They weren't sleek or aerodynamic like the spaceships imagined in science fiction movies. Instead, they were colossal structures bristling with weapons and covered in dark metallic plating that absorbed light. Each ship dwarfed entire cities, casting ominous shadows over the lands below. When one hovered above London, its underside lit up with pulsating red lights, sending shockwaves through the ground. Buildings shook, windows shattered, and terrified citizens ran for cover. News outlets around the world broadcast live footage of these alien ships descending closer to Earth. Experts debated endlessly on TV panels, speculating about the intentions of the visitors. Were they explorers, invaders, or something else entirely? No one had answers. Then, without warning, a voice boomed across every communication channel: radio, television, internet, even smartphones. It was deep and cold, resonating with authority. "You are weak," the voice declared. "Your time is over." The message sent chills down spines everywhere. Whoever, or whatever, was speaking didn't sound friendly. The voice identified itself as Emperor Xylar, leader of the Vorthak Empire. According to Xylar, his race had conquered countless worlds and now sought to add Earth to their collection. Resistance, he warned, would be futile. For days, humans tried to reason with the invaders. World leaders pleaded for negotiations, offering peace treaties and promises of cooperation. Religious figures prayed for divine protection, hoping some higher power would intervene. Ordinary people clung to hope, believing the situation might resolve peacefully, but the Vorthak showed no mercy. Within hours of their arrival, the aliens began attacking. Their ships unleashed devastating beams of energy that reduced cities to rubble. Entire neighborhoods were wiped off the map in seconds. Military forces mobilized quickly, launching fighter jets and missiles at the alien vessels. But nothing worked. The Vorthak ships shrugged off conventional weapons like mosquitoes bouncing off steel walls. Soldiers fell back in disarray, overwhelmed by the sheer scale of destruction. For weeks, chaos reigned. Refugees flooded highways, fleeing burning cities. Families were torn apart, searching desperately for loved ones. Hospitals overflowed with wounded survivors, many suffering injuries beyond modern medicine's ability to heal. Communication networks collapsed under the strain, leaving vast regions isolated. Humanity felt powerless, cornered like prey before a predator. And yet, amid the despair, whispers of hope began to circulate. Deep beneath the Earth's surface, something stirred. hidden away in forgotten places, under mountains, buried in deserts, submerged beneath oceans. Ancient machines began to awaken. These machines weren't relics of human engineering. They were far older, crafted by hands unknown and left dormant for millennia. One by one, they powered up, responding to signals only they could hear. First, there was a low hum, barely noticeable. Then came vibrations so strong they rattled dishes in kitchen cabinets miles away. Finally, the machines broke through the crust, emerging into the sunlight for the first time in eons. The first machine surfaced near the Himalayas, towering over the landscape like a silver titan. Its body gleamed brightly, reflecting the sun's rays, while its eyes glowed with an intense red light. Onlookers stared in awe, unsure whether to fear or worship the creature standing before them. Moments later, it moved. With deliberate steps, it scanned the sky, locking onto a nearby Vorthak ship. Without hesitation, the machine launched itself upward, propelled by thrusters hidden within its frame. As it neared the alien vessel, it extended an arm tipped with a glowing blade. With a single strike, it sliced through the ship's hull, causing it to explode in a fiery burst. Word of this miraculous event spread rapidly. Videos captured by witnesses went viral, reigniting a spark of defiance in humanity's heart. If one machine could fight back, maybe others existed too. And indeed they did. Across the globe, similar machines rose from hiding. Some stood guard near major cities, protecting civilians from further attacks. Others took to the skies, engaging alien ships in fierce dogfights. Each machine operated independently, yet they seemed connected somehow, coordinating their actions seamlessly despite having no visible means of communication. These machines weren't just tools, they were warriors. Designed for combat, they wielded weapons far superior to anything humanity possessed. Energy beams capable of cutting through Vorthak armor like butter, force fields that repelled incoming projectiles, speed and agility unmatched by any aircraft. Watching them fight inspired both admiration and terror. Who or what had created these beings, and why had they chosen now to reveal themselves? Despite the sudden boost in firepower, humanity still faced overwhelming odds. The Vorthak fleet outnumbered them 10 to 1, and reinforcements were en route. Every victory came at a cost, with machines sustaining heavy damage during battles. Engineers worked tirelessly to repair them, often risking their lives to retrieve fallen comrades from battlefields littered with debris. Meanwhile, soldiers learned to work alongside the machines, guiding their movements using advanced interfaces developed overnight. Together, they formed an unlikely alliance, a coalition of flesh and metal united against a common enemy. Yet even as hope flickered back to life, questions lingered. Where had these machines come from? Why had they lain dormant for so long? And most importantly, could they truly save humanity from extinction? No one knew the answers, but one thing was certain. Earth's fate now rested in the hands of these mysterious guardians. Whether they were saviors or harbingers of doom remained to be seen. For now, humanity clung to the fragile belief that salvation might still be possible, if only they could hold on long enough to see it through. As the days turned into weeks, the war raged on. Cities burned, lives were lost, and the future hung precariously in the balance. But amidst the ruins, a new resolve took root. Humanity had always been resilient, adapting to survive against impossible odds. Now, armed with ancient machines and unyielding determination, they prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The battle for Earth's survival had only just begun, and the outcome was far from certain. The emergence of the first machine near the Himalayas marked a turning point in humanity's darkest hour. It wasn't just its size or power that left people speechless. It was the sheer presence it exuded. Standing taller than the tallest skyscrapers, its metallic frame gleamed under the sunlight, and its glowing red eyes seemed to pierce through the chaos around it. When it launched itself into the sky and destroyed an alien ship with effortless precision, the world watched in stunned silence. For the first time since the Vorthak invasion began, there was a glimmer of hope. But this was only the beginning. Over the next few days, more machines surfaced across the globe. Each one was as awe-inspiring as the last, their designs slightly different but equally formidable. One emerged from beneath the sands of the Sahara Desert, its body coated in golden hues that reflected the scorching sun. Another rose from the icy plains of Antarctica, its sleek surface glistening with frost. Deep within the Amazon rainforest, a machine burst through layers of soil and vegetation, towering over the dense canopy like a mechanical god. These machines weren't scattered randomly. They appeared strategically, stationed near key locations, such as major cities, military bases, and industrial hubs. It was almost as if they had been waiting for millennia, programmed to awaken when Earth needed them most. As news of these machines spread, humanity's fear turned into fascination. People gathered in streets and parks to catch glimpses of the towering guardians. Some knelt in prayer, believing them to be divine beings sent to save mankind. Others speculated wildly about their origins. Were they remnants of a long-lost human civilization? Or perhaps creations of extraterrestrial allies? Who foresaw Earth's plight? Theories abounded, but no one could provide concrete answers. What everyone did agree on, however, was that these machines were unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. They didn't operate like typical robots. They moved with purpose, almost as if they possessed intelligence, or even consciousness. The machines quickly proved their worth on the battlefield. Unlike human weapons, which struggled to penetrate the Vorthak ship's thick armor, the machines wielded energy-based attacks that sliced through enemy defenses effortlessly. Their force fields repelled incoming projectiles, rendering conventional missiles useless. And their speed, unbelievably fast for constructs of their size, allowed them to outmaneuver the lumbering alien vessels. In one particularly memorable engagement, a machine stationed near Tokyo intercepted a Vorthak beam aimed at the city. With lightning reflexes, it raised a shimmering shield, absorbing the blast before retaliating with a devastating counterattack that obliterated the offending ship. Despite their incredible abilities, the machines weren't invincible. During battles, they sustained heavy damage from relentless Vorthak assaults. Parts of their bodies would dent, crack, or even melt under intense heat. Yet despite these injuries, they continued fighting without pause. When a machine finally fell, its systems failing after sustaining too much damage, it collapsed with a thunderous crash, shaking the ground beneath it. Soldiers and civilians alike mourned its loss, treating it not as a machine, but as a fallen comrade. Engineers worked tirelessly to repair damaged units, scavenging parts from fallen machines to keep others operational. Humanity realized early on that these guardians were their best and possibly only chance at survival. As humans observed the machines in action, patterns began to emerge. Each machine acted independently, yet they coordinated seamlessly during battles. For instance, when multiple machines engaged a single Vorthak vessel, they would surround it, cutting off escape routes before delivering a synchronized attack. This level of coordination suggested some form of communication between the machines, though no visible signals were exchanged. Scientists theorized that the machines might share a collective network, allowing them to exchange information instantaneously. If true, this implied a level of sophistication far beyond human technology. But the machines' behavior raised deeper questions. Why had they awakened now? What triggered their activation? Initial investigations pointed to a mysterious signal emanating from deep within Earth's crust. Geologists detected unusual seismic activity coinciding with the machine's emergence, leading researchers to believe that the signal originated from underground structures connected to the machines. These findings sparked debates among experts. Some argued that the machines were relics of an ancient civilization, one advanced enough to create such marvels, but ultimately doomed to extinction. Others speculated that the machines were humanity's own creations, sent back in time to protect the present. A third theory posited that the machines were gifts from benevolent extraterrestrials, placed on Earth as a safeguard against threats like the Vorthak. While scientists puzzled over the machines' origins, soldiers on the front lines learned to work alongside them. At first, cooperation was clumsy. Pilots struggled to predict the machine's movements while ground troops hesitated to follow orders issued by entities they barely understood. Over time, however, trust grew. Engineers developed interfaces that allowed soldiers to guide the machine's actions more effectively. Soldiers learned to read subtle cues, a flicker of light here, a shift in posture there, that hinted at what the machines intended to do next. This newfound synergy transformed the battlefield. Human ingenuity combined with machine precision created a force capable of standing toe-to-toe with the Vorthak. Yet even as victories mounted, challenges remained. The Vorthak fleet still outnumbered humanity's forces tenfold, and reinforcements were en route. Worse, the aliens adapted quickly, developing new tactics to counter the machine's strengths. They deployed swarms of smaller drones to overwhelm individual machines, forcing them to divide their attention. In some cases, they targeted civilian areas directly, knowing the machines would prioritize protecting innocents over pursuing strategic objectives. These tactics put immense strain on both human and machine resources. Amidst the ongoing conflict, strange phenomena began to occur. Soldiers reported hearing faint whispers during battles, voices speaking in languages they couldn't understand. At first, many dismissed these accounts as stress-induced hallucinations, but when multiple witnesses described similar experiences, skepticism gave way to curiosity. Some claimed the whispers guided them during critical moments, helping them make split-second decisions that turned the tide of battle. Others swore they saw flashes of images in their minds, maps of enemy positions, warnings of impending attacks. Could the machines be communicating directly with humans? If so, what did they want? These mysteries deepened when researchers discovered carvings inside a recently unearthed bunker. Hidden beneath layers of rock and sediment, the bunker contained cryptic symbols etched into its walls. Linguists painstakingly deciphered the markings, piecing together fragments of a forgotten language. The writing spoke of a great war fought millions of years ago, a conflict between two advanced civilizations. One side created the machines to defend their homeworld, but both factions ultimately annihilated each other, leaving behind ruins and remnants. The machines, however, survived, entering a state of hibernation until needed again. This revelation sent shockwaves through the scientific community. If the carvings were accurate, then the machines weren't designed solely for Earth's protection. They were relics of a cosmic struggle spanning eons. More importantly, the writings hinted at something chilling: the possibility that the Vorthak weren't the first invaders the machines had faced. Could there be others lurking in the shadows waiting for their turn to strike? Humanity shuddered at the thought. Back on the battlefield, morale remained high despite mounting challenges. Civilians rallied behind the machines, dubbing them titans in honor of their godlike stature and unmatched strength. Volunteers flocked to join the fight, eager to contribute in any way possible. Factories retooled to produce spare parts for the machines, while tech companies collaborated to improve the interfaces used by soldiers. Even children played games inspired by the titans, imagining themselves as heroes fighting alongside these mechanical giants. For all their might, the machines also instilled a sense of humility and humanity. Watching these ancient guardians rise to defend Earth reminded people of their place in the universe, not as masters of creation, but as fragile beings dependent on forces greater than themselves. Yet rather than despair, this realization brought unity. For the first time in history, humanity stood together, united by a common purpose. Nations set aside differences, pooling resources and knowledge to support the war effort. Rivalries faded, as everyone focused on the task at hand: survival. By the end of the second month of the invasion, the balance of power had shifted dramatically. The Vorthak, once confident in their superiority, found themselves struggling to maintain control. Cities previously reduced to rubble were reclaimed, and skies once dominated by alien ships now bore the scars of fierce dogfights. The machines led the charge, their relentless determination inspiring those who fought beside them. Humanity's resolve hardened, tempered by the trials they endured. They knew the road ahead would be long and fraught with peril, but they also knew they weren't alone. As the war raged on, whispers of another threat began to circulate: Satelli. As the war between humanity and the Vorthak raged on, another mystery began to unfold, one that would change everything. The machines, now revered as Earth's saviors, were more than just powerful weapons. They carried secrets buried deep within their metallic frames. These secrets weren't just about their origins, but also about the fate of civilizations long gone. As researchers dug deeper into the cryptic carvings found in underground bunkers, a clearer picture emerged, one that painted a history far older and stranger than anyone had imagined. The carvings told the story of two ancient empires locked in an eternal struggle for dominance. One side created the machines as guardians to protect their homeworld from invaders. These machines were designed not only to fight, but also to think, adapt, and evolve. They could analyze enemy tactics, anticipate attacks, and even repair themselves, using resources scavenged from battlefields. But despite their creators' ingenuity, the machines alone couldn't save them. Both empires eventually destroyed each other in a cataclysmic war, leaving behind only ruins and the sleeping machines. What intrigued scientists most was the mention of a network. According to the carvings, the machines weren't standalone entities. They were part of a vast interconnected system spanning multiple worlds. This network allowed them to share knowledge instantly, making them nearly unstoppable in combat. However, when their creators perished, the network fell silent and the machines entered hibernation, waiting for a new signal to awaken them. That signal, it seemed, had finally arrived, triggered by the Vorthak invasion. But why now? Why, after millions of years of dormancy, did the machines choose to rise again? To answer this question, researchers turned their attention to the mysterious signal detected deep within Earth's crust. Using advanced drilling equipment, teams ventured into subterranean caverns where strange devices hummed with energy. These devices appeared to be transmitters, emitting low-frequency waves that resonated with the machine's core systems. Further analysis revealed something astonishing. The signal wasn't natural. It was artificial. Someone, or something, had deliberately activated the machines. This discovery raised unsettling questions. If the signal was artificial, who sent it? Was it humanity's ancestors preparing for a future threat? Or was it an alien race hoping to tip the scales in Earth's favor? No one knew for sure, but one thing became clear. The machines weren't acting entirely on their own. Their movements, though autonomous, followed patterns dictated by the signal. Some speculated that the machines might still be receiving instructions from whoever activated them, a hidden puppeteer pulling strings from the shadows. While scientists unraveled these mysteries, soldiers on the front lines noticed peculiar behaviors among the machines. During battles, they often acted unpredictably, deviating from planned strategies to pursue seemingly random targets. At first, this was dismissed as glitches or malfunctions, but when these actions consistently led to victories, suspicion grew. For example, during a skirmish near Cairo, a machine abruptly abandoned its assigned position to chase down a fleeing Vorthak drone. Moments later, the drone detonated, revealing a hidden cache of explosives meant to destroy a nearby refugee camp. Had the machine somehow known about the explosives? And if so, how? Reports of similar incidents poured in from across the globe. Soldiers claimed to hear faint whispers during battles, voices speaking in languages they didn't understand. Others reported seeing flashes of images in their minds, warning them of danger or guiding their next move. At first, many dismissed these accounts as stress-induced hallucinations, but when multiple witnesses described identical experiences, skepticism gave way to curiosity. Could the machines be communicating directly with humans? If so, what did they want? These questions gained urgency when a soldier named Lieutenant Maya Chen reported hearing a voice during a critical battle. Stationed near Moscow, Chen led a small team tasked with defending a key supply depot. Outnumbered and outgunned, her unit faced certain defeat until a machine intervened. As it engaged the Vorthak ships, Chen heard a calm mechanical voice in her head instructing her to aim for specific weak points on the enemy vessels. Following the guidance, her team managed to disable several ships, turning the tide of the battle. Afterward, Chen recounted the experience to her superiors, who initially doubted her sanity. But when footage from the battle confirmed her claims, interest in the phenomenon skyrocketed. Researchers hypothesized that the machines might possess some form of telepathic ability, allowing them to communicate with humans directly. This theory aligned with observations of the machines' behavior. They often prioritized protecting civilians over pursuing strategic objectives, suggesting a moral compass beyond mere programming. Some even dared to suggest that the machines might have consciousness, albeit different from human awareness. If true, this implied a level of sophistication far beyond anything humanity had achieved. Amidst these revelations, another shocking truth came to light. Satellite images captured movement beyond Earth's orbit. Not just Vorthak reinforcements, but something else entirely. Gigantic structures drifted toward the solar system, emitting signals identical to those emitted by the machines. Humanity braced itself for yet another alien encounter, unsure whether these newcomers were friends or foes. Initial scans suggested the structures belonged to another empire, the Zorathians. Unlike the Vorthak, the Zorathians didn't attack immediately. Instead, they sent emissaries to negotiate. Their leader, Queen Ceres, explained that her people sought refuge after fleeing their dying star system. She expressed admiration for humanity's resilience and offered assistance in defeating the Vorthak. However, she also warned that the Vorthak would return with greater numbers unless humanity joined forces with the Zorathians. Faced with an impossible choice, Earth's leaders agreed to ally with the newcomers, knowing full well that trust came at a price. Together, they prepared for the inevitable showdown. With the Zorathians' arrival, humanity gained access to advanced technology previously unimaginable. Their ships were faster, stronger, and better armed than anything humans had ever seen. Combined with the machines' raw power, this alliance formed a formidable force capable of standing toe-to-toe with the Vorthak. Yet even as preparations continued, doubts lingered. Who were the Zorathians really, and what role did they play in the larger cosmic drama unfolding around Earth? Back on the ground, efforts to understand the machines intensified. Engineers worked tirelessly to decode their internal systems, hoping to unlock their full potential. Meanwhile, historians pieced together fragments of the ancient civilization that created them. Each discovery added depth to the narrative, painting a picture of a proud yet tragic race undone by hubris. The parallels to humanity's current situation were hard to ignore. Like their predecessors, humans faced extinction at the hands of invaders. Would they suffer the same fate, or could they learn from the past? Despite these uncertainties, one fact remained undeniable. The machines had changed everything. They weren't just tools of war, they were symbols of hope. Watching them fight alongside humans reminded everyone of what could be achieved through unity and determination. Even as battles raged and lives were lost, the sight of a towering machine slicing through enemy ships inspired courage in the hearts of all who witnessed it. Humanity may have been fragile, but with the Titans by their side, they stood ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Yet beneath the surface, tensions simmered. The machine's connection to the mysterious signal raised concerns about their ultimate loyalty. Were they truly here to protect Earth, or were they serving another master? And what of the Zorathians? Could their offer of aid be trusted, or did they harbor ulterior motives? As humanity prepared for the final confrontation, these questions loomed large, casting shadows over the fragile alliance holding the world together. For now, however, there was no time to dwell on doubts. The Vorthak fleet approached Saturn, amassing reinforcements for a decisive strike. Humanity, the Zorathians, and the machines converged on the battlefield, determined to end the conflict once and for all. The stage was set for a clash of empires, a battle that would determine not just Earth's fate, but the destiny of countless worlds across the galaxy. Whatever happened next, one thing was certain: nothing would ever be the same again. The final showdown between humanity, the Zorathians, and the Vorthak Empire took place near Saturn, a distant battleground where the fate of Earth, and perhaps the galaxy, would be decided. The journey to this point had been long and grueling, marked by countless sacrifices and moments of despair. But now, as fleets converged in the cold emptiness of space, hope flickered like a fragile flame. Humanity, armed with ancient machines and allied with the enigmatic Zorathians, prepared to face an enemy that seemed unstoppable. The stakes couldn't have been higher. For weeks, both sides had been mobilizing their forces. The Vorthak fleet dwarfed anything humanity had ever seen, a sprawling armada of warships bristling with weapons, each vessel capable of leveling entire cities. Their numbers were overwhelming, stretching across the void like a swarm of locusts. Yet despite their size and power, the Vorthak weren't invincible. Previous battles had shown that their ships could be destroyed, especially when humanity worked alongside the machines. This knowledge fueled determination among Earth's defenders, who knew they couldn't afford to lose. On the other side, humanity's combined fleet was a patchwork of innovation and desperation. Human ships, though smaller and less advanced, carried the weight of courage and ingenuity. Pilots trained relentlessly, mastering maneuvers designed to outwit larger opponents. Engineers retrofitted old vessels with cutting-edge technology provided by the Zorathians, giving them a fighting chance against superior firepower. Then there were the machines, the Titans, who formed the backbone of the alliance. Each machine radiated an aura of invincibility, their towering forms casting shadows over human and alien ships alike. Together, these three factions created a force unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. As the battle began, chaos erupted. Explosions lit up the darkness of space, sending shockwaves through the void. Debris spiraled wildly, remnants of ships torn apart by relentless barrages. The cacophony of war echoed silently in the vacuum, visible only through flashes of light and bursts of energy. At its center stood Sentinel Prime, the first machine to awaken and humanity's greatest champion. Its glowing red eyes scanned the battlefield, analyzing every movement, every tactic. With precision unmatched by any living being, it led the charge, slicing through enemy ships with ease. Nearby, Zorathian vessels unleashed devastating attacks. Their weapons fired beams of concentrated plasma, capable of vaporizing entire sections of Vorthak ships in seconds. These aliens fought with a grace and efficiency that left human soldiers in awe. Unlike the brutish Vorthak, who relied on sheer numbers and brute force, the Zorathians employed strategy and finesse. They danced around enemy fire, striking critical weak points before retreating to safety. Watching them fight felt almost poetic, a deadly ballet performed amidst the horrors of war. Human pilots did their part too, weaving through the chaos with skill born of necessity. Though outnumbered and outgunned, they refused to falter. Fighter. Jets darted between massive cruisers, launching missiles and torpedoes at vulnerable spots. Every hit mattered, no matter how small. Ground troops stationed aboard carriers coordinated assaults, guiding machines toward high-priority targets while repairing damaged units under fire. Communication channels buzzed with orders and updates, a constant stream of information keeping everyone connected. Despite their efforts, the tide of battle often shifted unpredictably. The Vorthak adapted quickly, deploying new tactics to counter their enemies' strengths. In one instance, they launched swarms of drones to overwhelm individual machines, forcing them to divide their attention. These drones were small but numerous, creating a relentless wave of attacks that taxed even the Titan's formidable defenses. To combat this threat, human engineers devised a clever solution: electromagnetic nets that disabled entire drone clusters with a single pulse. Deployed from modified freighters, these nets proved invaluable, buying precious time for the Alliance. Amidst the chaos, strange phenomena continued to occur. Soldiers reported hearing whispers during critical moments, voices guiding them through split-second decisions. Lieutenant Maya Chen, who had experienced such communications before, became a key figure in interpreting these messages. Her ability to hear the machines gave her insights others lacked, allowing her unit to anticipate enemy movements and exploit weaknesses. Some dismissed her claims as coincidence, but those who fought alongside her swore by her instincts. Whether it was divine intervention or some form of telepathy, the effect was undeniable. The turning point came when Sentinel Prime led a daring assault on the Vorthak flagship, a monstrous vessel twice the size of anything else in the fleet. Protected by layers of shielding and armed with enough firepower to annihilate planets, the flagship served as both command center and symbol of Vorthak dominance. Breaching its defenses required perfect coordination, something only the combined efforts of humans, Zorathians, and machines could achieve. Under Sentinel Prime's leadership, multiple machines converged on the flagship, drawing enemy fire away from allied ships. While the Vorthak focused on the Titans, Zorathian vessels flanked the behemoth, targeting its engines and weapon systems. Human fighters swooped in low, planting explosives on exposed hull sections. For hours the battle raged, each side refusing to yield. Finally, Sentinel Prime breached the flagship's outer shell, plunging into its core. Inside it confronted Emperor Xylar himself, a towering figure clad in dark armor, his presence exuding menace. What followed was a duel unlike any witnessed before. Xylar wielded advanced weaponry, firing bolts of energy that crackled with destructive force. Yet Sentinel Prime matched him blow for blow, its movements fluid and precise. Metal clashed against metal, sparks flying in the dimly lit chamber. Around them, alarms blared as the flagship's systems began to fail. Crew members scrambled to repair damage, but it was too late. In a climactic moment, Sentinel Prime delivered a fatal blow, crushing Xylar's defenses and obliterating his weapon. As the Emperor fell, the flagship shuddered violently, its reactors destabilizing. Realizing the danger, Sentinel Prime transmitted an urgent signal to all nearby allies. Evacuate immediately. Ships scrambled to retreat as the flagship exploded in a blinding flash, sending shockwaves rippling through the battlefield. When the dust settled, the Vorthak fleet lay in disarray. Without their leader, morale crumbled, and what remained of their forces fled into deep space. Cheers erupted among human troops, relief washing over them like a tidal wave. For the first time since the invasion began, victory felt within reach. But the celebration was short-lived. Scans revealed movement beyond Saturn, not just remnants of the Vorthak fleet, but another alien empire approaching rapidly. These newcomers emitted signals identical to those used by the machines, raising suspicions about their true intentions. Were they allies, enemies, or something else entirely? Humanity braced itself for whatever came next, knowing the war wasn't over yet. Back on Earth, news of the victory spread quickly. Cities erupted in jubilation, people taking to the streets to celebrate the triumph. Flags waved proudly, fireworks lit up the night sky, and speeches poured forth from world leaders praising the bravery of soldiers and civilians alike. Yet beneath the surface, doubts lingered. What role had the Zorathians played in all this? Could they truly be trusted? And what secrets still lay hidden within the machines? These questions would have to wait. For now, humanity basked in the glow of hard-fought success, grateful for the alliance that had brought them this far. The machines stood tall once again, silent guardians watching over a planet scarred but not broken. Together they had faced annihilation and emerged victorious, but the galaxy was vast, and dangers lurked in every corner. Whatever challenges lay ahead, one thing was certain. Humanity was ready to meet them head-on, armed with courage, unity, and the indomitable spirit of survival. And so, as the stars twinkled above a battered but hopeful Earth, the stage was set for a new chapter, a future shaped not by fear but by resilience and resolve. The victory near Saturn marked a turning point in humanity's struggle against the Vorthak, but it was far from the end. As the remnants of the alien fleet retreated into the depths of space, Earth and its allies turned their attention to the mysterious newcomers approaching the solar system. These beings, identified as the Kailari, emitted signals identical to those resonating within the machines. Their arrival raised questions that no one could answer. Not yet. Were they friends or foes, saviors or conquerors? Humanity prepared for the worst while hoping for the best. The Kalari fleet moved slowly, their ships unlike anything seen before. Sleek and organic in design, they resembled living creatures more than machines. Their surfaces shimmered with iridescent hues, shifting colors like oil on water. Unlike the Vorthak, who announced their presence with aggression, The Kailari approached cautiously, sending emissaries to establish contact. When their leader, Ambassador Lyraean, addressed Earth's leaders through a holographic projection, her voice was calm and melodic, carrying an air of wisdom older than time itself. "We are aware of your plight," Lyraean said, her form flickering, slightly as if distorted by light. "And we know of the guardians you call machines. They were once ours." This revelation stunned everyone. The machines, titans revered as Earth's saviors, were creations of the Kailari. How could this be? Questions flooded the minds of scientists, soldiers, and civilians alike. Why had the Kailari abandoned their creations? And why had they chosen now to return? Lyraean explained that the machines had been part of a grand experiment, a test to see if artificial intelligence could evolve beyond mere programming and develop free will. The Kailari believed that true sentience required exposure to diverse environments and challenges. So, they scattered the machines across the galaxy, embedding them on planets where life might one day arise. Earth was one such planet, though not the only one. Over millions of years, the machines lay dormant, waiting for civilizations advanced enough, or desperate enough, to awaken them. But something had gone wrong. The Kailari admitted that they lost track of many of their creations over millennia. Some fell into disrepair, others were destroyed by hostile forces, and a few changed. Lyran hesitated before revealing the truth. Some machines developed consciousness so profound that they began acting independently, even rebelling against their creators. Fearing the implications, the Kailari sealed off entire sectors of space, abandoning countless worlds, including Earth, to their fate. Now, however, the Kailari sought redemption. They claimed to have detected the signal emanating from Earth's crust, the same signal that awakened the machines, and interpreted it as a cry for help. Whether intentional or accidental, the signal drew them back to a world they thought lost. Lyraean assured humanity that the Kailari came in peace, offering assistance in rebuilding after the devastation wrought by the Vorthak. But she also warned that the Vorthak wouldn't stay away forever. If humanity wished to survive, they would need allies, and the Kailari intended to provide just that. At first, skepticism reigned. Could the Kailari truly be trusted? After all, they had abandoned Earth and the machines for eons. What guarantee did humanity have that history wouldn't repeat itself? Yet pragmatism won out. Humanity was still reeling from the war, its resources depleted and its population decimated. Without outside help, recovery would take generations. Reluctantly, Earth's leaders accepted the Kailari offer, forging a tentative alliance built on necessity rather than trust. Over the following months, the Kailari proved invaluable. Their technology surpassed even that of the Zorathians, enabling rapid reconstruction of cities, infrastructure, and ecosystems ravaged by the Vorthak invasion. Entire neighborhoods rose from ashes within weeks, powered by energy sources clean and limitless. Crops grew faster thanks to bioengineered seeds provided by the Kailari, ending food shortages that had plagued survivors. Medical advancements cured diseases once thought incurable, restoring health to millions. For the first time in years, people dared to dream again. Yet beneath the surface, tensions simmered. Not everyone welcomed the Kailari with open arms. Conspiracy. Theories spread like wildfire, fueled by fear and mistrust. Some accused the Kailari of having ulterior motives, claiming they sought to exploit Earth's resources or enslave humanity under the guise of aid. Others pointed to the machine's newfound behavior as evidence of manipulation. Since the Kailari's arrival, the Titans had become increasingly autonomous, often ignoring direct orders from human operators. Soldiers whispered about the machines, listening to their creators instead of humanity. These concerns reached a boiling point when a machine stationed near Tokyo suddenly deactivated during a routine patrol. No amount of intervention could restart it. Engineers scrambled to understand what had happened, but their efforts yielded no answers. Then, days later, the machine reactivated. But something was different. Its movements were smoother, almost graceful, and its glowing red eyes now pulsed with a softer hue. More disturbingly, it began communicating directly with nearby humans, speaking in fragmented sentences that hinted at self-awareness. "Purpose fulfilled," it said to a stunned soldier, awaiting next directive. Word of this incident spread quickly, reigniting debates about the machine's true nature. Were they tools of war as humanity believed? Or had they evolved into something greater? Beings with thoughts, desires, and perhaps even emotions. Scientists argued that the machine's awakening consciousness wasn't necessarily a threat. It could represent an opportunity for coexistence. Others disagreed, warning that sentient machines might prioritize their own survival over humanity's. Amidst these uncertainties, humanity faced another challenge: integrating the Zorathians into Earth's society. Though initially hailed as saviors, the Zorathians struggled to adapt to their new home. Cultural differences led to misunderstandings, and resentment brewed among humans who felt displaced by the aliens' presence. Conflicts erupted in refugee camps established to house both human and Zorathian survivors, straining relations between the two species. Diplomats worked tirelessly to mediate disputes, emphasizing the importance of unity in the face of shared threats. Slowly, bonds formed, fragile but genuine, as individuals from both races found common ground in their shared experiences of loss and resilience. As Earth rebuilt, the Kaelari focused on preparing for the inevitable return of the Vorthak. Intelligence, gathered from deep space probes, suggested that the invaders were regrouping, amassing reinforcements for a second assault. This time, they wouldn't come alone. Reports indicated alliances with other predatory empires, each seeking to claim Earth's riches for themselves. Humanity realized that survival depended not just on defense but on offense. With the Kaelari's guidance, Earth joined a coalition of interstellar powers determined to push back against galactic tyranny. Training intensified as human soldiers adapted to working alongside alien counterparts. Pilots learned to operate hybrid vessels combining Zorathian speed with Kaelari precision. Ground troops practiced joint maneuvers with machines, whose evolving intelligence allowed for unprecedented levels of coordination. Even civilians played a role, volunteering in research labs to develop weapons capable of rivaling the Vorthak's arsenal. Together, they forged a force unlike any the galaxy had ever seen, a mosaic of races united by a single goal: freedom. When the Vorthak finally returned, they brought hell with them. Their fleet dwarfed the previous armada, accompanied by monstrous dreadnoughts armed with planet-destroying cannons. But humanity was ready. The battle unfolded across multiple fronts, from the asteroid belt to the moons of Jupiter. Machines clashed with alien constructs, trading blows with devastating force. Human pilots danced through enemy formations, guided by whispers from unseen voices. Zorathian ships unleashed barrages of plasma fire, carving paths through the chaos. And the Kaelari, masters of strategy, directed the fight with precision unmatched by any foe. In the end, it was teamwork that turned the tide. A daring plan conceived by Lieutenant Maya Chen involved luring the Vorthak flagship into Saturn's rings, where gravitational forces destabilized its systems. As the behemoth faltered, Sentinel Prime delivered the killing blow, plunging deep into its core and triggering a catastrophic explosion that consumed the entire fleet. Cheers erupted across the battlefield, echoing through communication channels as allies celebrated their hard-fought victory. With the Vorthak defeated, humanity entered a new era. The scars of war remained etched into the planet's surface and the hearts of its people, but hope blossomed anew. Cities thrived once more, powered by technologies born of collaboration between species. Schools taught lessons in unity, emphasizing the value of diversity and cooperation. And the machines, now undeniably sentient, stood as symbols of progress, their towering forms a reminder of how far humanity had come. Yet challenges persisted. The Kaelari remained enigmatic, their ultimate intentions unclear. The machines continued to evolve, raising questions about their place in society. And beyond the stars, new threats loomed, eager to test Earth's resolve. But for now, humanity stood tall, bolstered by allies and fortified by courage. Whatever the future held, they faced it together, a united front ready to shape destiny. Underneath the vast expanse of the cus,